one thing that I did was I spent some time thinking about what the life that I want looks like. Spending time creating that space, that image. How do I feel? How does my body feel? How am I aging? How's my marriage? How's my family? What kind of things do we do? And just really saturating all of my senses into what does that look like, giving myself a really crystal clear vision on what that looks like. And then once you have that detailed out, you got that crystal clear vision, you meditate on it over and over. This is what it feels like. This is what it looks like. I live in this simple, clutter-free home. I'm not bogged down by debt. I don't have toxic relationships. You feel so liberated the more that you do that, little at a time. And once you get that detailed vision down, then you start moving into action. And so you got to be really focused and disciplined and really not care what people think when you're going through this, because a lot of people will have their opinions, especially family members, when you say and you stop doing those things that maybe they want you to do or you normally would do, like going out to drinking or blowing money, bowling, or I don't know, just for fun. I know people who they just always have to be doing something fun. Every weekend is something fun. It's almost like, well, I deserve it because I worked so hard during the week, so we're gonna go do this. And they're needing that excitement. They're needing that life. And I get it. Like sometimes you want to just do something fun, but when it's this habitual thing over and over, you're blowing money doing things that really aren't fulfilling you. Or just maybe for the moment it feels good, and then that's it. And then you got to do it again and again and again, like drinking or whatever. Once you get that vision down and that detail down, you move into action, and everything that you're doing moves into action to support that goal, to support whatever it is. So whatever big goal that you're working with, you got to be all in. You have to be aggressively all in on that one big goal. For example, let's say you're trying to lose weight, you want to get healthy, you want to eat healthy. You're not going out to eat. You're not drinking. You're saying no to the things that are going to pull you away from that big goal. And if people are mad at you for that, then let them be. Let them have their own opinion. Let them say whatever they want to say over, oh, well, you're no fun anymore, or you don't want to do this, or you think you're better than us, or whatever. Forget it. You don't owe people an explanation for you wanting to better your life, your health, to be better. If it's getting out of debt, then every move you make is pushing towards that goal, because on the other side of that goal is freedom. On the other side of that is freedom. So you're going to say no to the vacations. You're going to say no to the eating out. You're going to say no to the impulse buys. You're going to say no to the influencers who are pushing you to want to buy things. You're going to carefully curate your home, intentionally buy what you need. And you're going to pull back on all of the ridiculous expenses, the Stanley Cups, the Home Goods runs, the thrift store finds, the unnecessary things. You don't need a cabinet full of supplements. You need to weight train and work out and be hydrated. Simple things. If you have a gym membership and you use it, keep it. Keep the things that are going to help you be better. If you're paying for a physical trainer, keep that if it's helping you be better. Those are budgeted expenses. So you're going to budget the things in that you're going to do. Grocery delivery, I budget that in because we gave up the car. So it's a much less version. It's a much less outgo than it was having a car that we barely drove. It made no sense because we barely drove it. We were under where the mileage should be by more than half of where it should be. And to give you an idea, it was 5,000 miles in 3 years. I mean, it was nothing. Why are we paying for this car? So, you just make the moves that are going to fit within the season and with what you're working on. And you don't give people the authority to make those decisions for you. If they want to be mad that you didn't go on vacation, or you didn't come visit, or you didn't come to the family reunion, you didn't go meet them for drinks, let them. And just stay on course, stay doing what you have to do, focus on your race, running your race, be intentional, be purposeful. You're going to be so much farther ahead. If I would have done this in today is my birthday, actually, I have 42. If I would have done this in my 20s, I'd be so much more ahead in so many different areas, not caring what people think. Now, I started this journey a few years ago, but again, it's a journey, it takes time. So in each area of the journey is a different area. For me, part of it was figuring out why I had behavioral habits that made me impulse spend all the time. Why was I doing this? It was a behavioral pattern. It was a habit of why I was doing it. And And to break that you were raised with, or that you dealt with your whole life, to break that habit, it's not a quick thing. It's like an up and down thing until you're rewiring your brain to do and be somebody totally different than what you've been your whole life and what you were taught and what you saw. People not knowing how to manage money properly comes into your life, and then you don't know how to manage money properly. So it's like this never-ending snowball until you put a stop to it and you turn that ship around. And while you turn that ship around, it might take months, it might take a year. You're turning a big ship around, that's okay. But if you can cut the bleeding on ridiculous things like Halloween, stupid things, you don't need plastic bowls, you don't need ghost costumes, you don't need a bunch of garbage candy. Cut the bleeding. You don't need beauty subscriptions. You don't need the latest and greatest. You don't need to finance that sweater. You just pull back, because really nobody cares. We all think everybody cares about the life that we're showing. Oh, I'm showing up and everybody loves it. Nobody cares. You know why? Because they're too busy caring about themselves. They're too busy focused on themselves. They don't care about what you're doing. They don't care what you're wearing, what you're doing. Like, we think people care so much. Oh, everybody's watching me. They could care less. They're too busy focused on themselves to even think twice. And if they are watching you, give them something to watch. Oh man, what's she doing now? Keep them on their toes, because if people are expecting you to be a certain way and then you change, they're like, whoa, what's going on? And that really gets people's attention, because they're like, well, what happened? You've been this way your whole life. And man, I've had haters, even close friends that have come out of the woodwork, called me names. And I mean, I'm talking like nasty stuff. I'm like, wow, I've been close to you for years on whatever. And now all of a sudden you tell me how you really feel. Part of it is because I don't have a filter when it comes to speaking the truth. And people don't like that. So when I'm friends with them and I tell them, hey, you shouldn't be doing this or whatever, you're crying about a problem that you keep creating yourself. They don't like that. They want you to come down to their level and sulk with them. And it's just not something I care to do. So if you have to walk alone for a little while, then walk alone, because God's bringing you on a journey and on a path to awaken others. But first, you have to get there. And you can't get there if you're pulling this big line of people behind you and you're dragging them with you to come on this journey with you. Let them go. Cut the cord. People are going to make their own decisions. Wish them well. You can love them and not have relation with them and not be super close to them. You can love them from a distance and put up boundaries, protecting your peace, your clarity, and moving forward confidently without giving them an explanation day in and day out for what you're doing, what you're not doing. It's like your need for people to be okay with your choices lowers. Like, you don't have that need anymore for people to be okay with it, because you're not going to please everybody, and there's some battles you're just not going to win. So move in accordance to the freedom. You're seeking freedom. You're seeking a life where you're not stuck in the system, in the world system. You're not a slave to debt. You're not stuck buying every trendy thing that every influencer's telling you to buy, every gadget. You're not influenced by those, but you are walking with clarity and discernment. You are now aligned, knowing, hey, my time on this earth is not forever. I need to take care of my body. I need to take care of my mind. I need to make sure I'm connecting with Jesus in a relationship way, not a religious to-do way, a relationship way. You're going to have to cut some things off, so you're not like, I'm just cramming this in because I never get to spend any alone time with Jesus because I'm too busy. I've been there. I got to let things go. I used to have like a whole stack of books. I'm like, I'm going to read all of these books. The one book I would never pick up would be the Bible, because I'm like, oh, it's too complicated. It's not really that complicated, because you get revelation as you read it. Plus, there's a lot of different versions now that are simplified. But I'd be like, I'm going to read all these other books that weren't the Bible. Finally, I thought, I'm just going to get rid of all these other books. So I'm only forced to read this one. It's the only book I have left. I got rid of all my books. Huge bookshelf full. Not only was I lugging it around everywhere, for what? Like, yeah, there's times and places. If you want to learn about investments, read a book about investments, watch a podcast about it, or whatever. So it's specific things. But if you're doing things just to feel like I'm going to accomplish all of these other things, when the most important thing is being left aside, then you got to remove those from your plate, So same thing with junk food in the house. You got to remove the junk food if you're trying to eat healthy. Don't make it harder for yourself by removing it. When I stopped doing all this impulse spending and Target spending and everything, I had to cut up my credit cards and close them because I knew if I cut them up, I could get a replacement. If I close them, I'm screwed. I'm basically tricking myself so I don't have a way out. You have to do that until you're strong enough. It's like your new self and this new version that you have designed, that you've created, you know, that you are working towards, has to be in charge of that old person, because the old wants and the old desires are familiar. They're comfort. They feel good, but they give you the results that you've already gotten, and those are the results you don't want anymore. Those are the results that are not serving you anymore. And to come up higher, you have to let go of those old ways. You have to make decisions differently. So at first, those decisions are going to feel really awkward. They're going to feel weird because you're not used to making those. They're weird. You're like, oh, this doesn't feel good. Oh, it doesn't, but it will, because you're rewiring yourself. You're raising your standards, and you are then being in control instead of allowing these things to control you. We can't go through life as victims, thinking, oh, this stuff happens to me. And I mean, I've been there. I'm talking about this because I've been there. I've had so many things, and for so long I'm like, this keeps happening. Well, why? You know, why does it keep happening? So at some point you got to take control and authority and say, no, I'm not going to allow this to happen anymore. And I'm going to do what I have to do, even if it's uncomfortable, even if there's going to be pushback from people, whatever. Do what you got to do. Get your life in order. It's going to feel so much better. You're going to live so much better, and you're leading your family and your kids to freedom. Remember that. You're carrying them to freedom. Don't let anyone stop that. You do what you got to do.